What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Francisco. Let's talk about the OBSBOT Tail Air. Probably the fanciest webcam I have ever owned in my entire life. And I've owned a few, like three webcams in my entire content creation time. The wonderful people at OBSBOT were kind enough to send me the Tail Air for free for the purposes of this review. My thoughts are my own in this video. The camera was free. They did ask that I cover the features and benefits of the camera itself, which makes total sense because I would have done that anyway. So that being said and that out of the way, let's talk about this. If we were going to use video game terms, this webcam is OP. It's broken, not in a bad way. I mean, there's a lot going on here. Wow. That's all I can really say. So let's go. All right. So if you wanted to pick up the OBSBOT Tail Air, this is going to run you about $499.99. And yes, I know that is a very hefty price tag, but I'm telling you, for the money, you're getting one hell of a camera. Let's check this out. Okay, look. So $499. What does that get you? Advanced AI auto tracking. I'll cover that in this video, of course. Ultra high definition resolution. So this camera is able to capture at 4K 30 FPS or 1080p 60 FPS. Seamless NDI connectivity, multi-port connections, and exclusive app support. Let's start with the AI auto tracking, okay? That's what we're gonna go with first because that's some pretty cool stuff if you ask me. So I've turned on the AI auto tracking right now, and what it's doing is that because this webcam is basically on its own little gimbal over here, is that it's gonna track me as I move around because sometimes I like to get a little too excited. So I'm over here, then I'm over here, then I'm over here again, then I'm over here again. All right, just like that. And I mean, if I wanted to, I could also stand up, right? So I'll stand up. All right, I'm gonna try and keep the microphone as close as possible, but it follows you. It follows you, and it's great. I think that's awesome. I think it's really good for anybody who's a very animated content creator or an animated streamer. There's a lot going on. I know sometimes, you know, you get that one game-winning kill or you score that last-second goal in FIFA to win the match, and you probably jump out of your seat like crazy, and you're just having a really good moment, and you walk out of frame. And sometimes, you know, I think people would enjoy to be able to see exactly what's going on as you are in that moment of triumph, right? And with the OBSBOT Tail Air, you're able to do that because of the AI auto tracking that is on board right there, which is really cool. One of the other features that I really like about this camera is you can turn it off. All right, you can turn it off and then you're able to do presets. All right, so as you do presets, you have 3 that you're able to select. So what you do is you kind of adjust the camera, adjust the gimbal to where you want it to be. You can adjust the zoom and everything else, the magnification. And then here's preset number 1. It jumps right to it. Here's preset number 3. Nice and up close and personal in case you really want to smell the flavor of coffee that I had this morning for breakfast. But if you don't want to smell my coffee breath, then you will go to preset number 2 and it just goes back out this way, right there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I love that. I think it's really cool because this can also enhance kind of like the production value, right? If I'm having a very earnest and sincere conversation with you in a video and I'm trying to make a very important point, I could sit here and go to preset number 3 and be like, look, like this is very important for you to understand. This is a $500 webcam. But don't let the price put you off. There's a lot that this thing has to offer for the money. This is one of the few webcams I've seen that actually gives you equal value to its price. Because more often than not, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think most webcams have been not awful, but they're just not, they don't really have the value proposition to match its price. And this is, I think, one of the few ones that does. But you know, I'm sure you don't wanna know what kind of coffee I had. So let's go back to preset number 2. All right, ladies and gents, so this is the OBSBOT Tail Air connected via the micro HDMI port on the camera and also the USB-C port on the back of the camera as well. So I'm running both of them simultaneously. That is exactly what you're looking at on screen right here. And before I tell you which one is which, I'm gonna give you a chance. I want you to comment below which one of these 2 halves of the screen, the left half or the right half, do you think is the HDMI output for the OBSBOT Tail Air? I'm gonna count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you guessed the right half of the screen, you are wrong. The HDMI output for the OBSBOT Tail Air is on the left-hand side of the screen. And when I look at this, because this is the first time I use it in this manner, actually, I've not even connected it via the micro HDMI at all until literally right now for the purposes of this video. When I look at it right now in my OBS preview, I feel like we have richer coloring via the USB port itself, right? Now, the reason that that's the case is because I've done some touch-ups to the image in the OBSBOT webcam app, which you have to have and you have to use in order to use the camera, by the way, okay? So I've done some touch-ups there. I've adjusted brightness, saturation, ISO, everything else, what have you. We'll cover that stuff here in a minute too. But I've done some touch-ups, which is why I think we have a richer coloration on the right-hand half of the screen, on the right-hand image, which is the USB output of the camera. On the left-hand side, okay, this I feel has a more natural look to it. I've not done any work at all to the camera itself as far as the HDMI output is concerned. I assumed that it would be running the exact same, but it's not, because if you notice something, and you'll see here in a second, I'll give you a chance to see it, there's a bit of a washout happening here with the coloring. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I feel like what I'm looking at right now looks fine. I just noticed also that on the right half of the screen, there's a little bit more color saturation going on because I've turned up the saturation setting in the OBSBOT webcam app, just to try and match it to my Canon M50 when, you know, I first started playing around with the camera. But let's have a look. So this is a full screen of the USB-C output of the OBSBOT Tail Air, and this is a full screen version of the HDMI output of the OBSBOT Tail Air. And when I switch between them, so this is HDMI, and I'm switching now to USB-C, you can tell that there is a shift and a change in the coloration. I'm back to HDMI, and now you can tell that there's a bit of a washout going on, but it's not terribly bad. It's just noticeable, and maybe I'm just crazy. And if I am crazy, please tell me in the comments below. But the really cool thing here is that you have options, and at $500, it is great to have options. You're not limited to just having to connect this camera via a USB port on your computer. You're able to use it with something like an Elgato Camlink, which is fantastic. And I didn't even suspect, nor did I assume, nor did I expect that you could run them both simultaneously. And that is pretty cool for shots like this. Moving on. All right, so the next thing I want to cover here is a quick overview of the OBSBOT webcam app, which you have to download to the computer and also definitely on your phone in order to use this camera. All right, so we got a couple of different options, and this is the app over here. If I had to critique one thing about this app, is that it doesn't get any bigger than this. This is as big as this gets, which I guess is nice because it's not an overly intrusive app on your screen, but you know, just a little bigger wouldn't be too bad, but whatever. So we got a couple of different tabs over here. We have the console tab. This is where you're primarily going to control the camera. You're going to be able to see, you know, what the battery charge is at. So it's at 100%, which, by the way, this is a camera you can take with you on the go and live stream directly through your phone while using the app on the phone and your camera simultaneously. And of course, because it's a rechargeable battery, you don't need a battery pack or anything connected to it. You just use the camera as is up until its imminent death. So you're able to go ahead and start recording. You can take screenshots over here, and then you can control the AI human tracking. So you can kind of adjust the tracking speed, right? We can go to standard, fast, and slow. You're able to determine if this goes up to like some sort of upper body mode or close-up mode. So we'll go to upper body. And so it kind of pans the camera zoom out a little bit, and it maintains, you know, tracking on you from a further away angle. And then if we go back to close up, I don't know why I put my hand on my chest like I'm trying to protect myself right now. Let's go to close up and move. I didn't really see much of a difference there. Let's go back to upper body. It's still the same. So we're gonna go back to normal tracking, and we'll leave it as is. Okay. There is an AI mode for animal tracking and group. This is where you set your presets, okay? So we're gonna go to preset number 1. Turn off AI tracking. This is gonna be preset number 1. If I want to adjust the positioning of the camera, right? Up, down, left, right, what have you, I can use this view and gimbal control over here by just usually tapping up right there. You can see it moving up. So let's pretend I want to set my setting on preset number 1 to this. You adjust it first, you right click on the preset you want to change, and you would hit update. We're not going to do that because obviously this is a very terrible angle to have. So we're just going to click it, go right back down. Then you do the same exact thing for preset number 2 and preset number 3. And here under view and gimbal is where you're able to change the zoom of the camera. So right now we're at 1.42. We're going to click in and move up with the wheel. And as you can see, It's going to zoom in more and more and more. So we're all the way up to 4x magnification, right? 4x zoom. We're going to go back to 1.42. If I can get it to do that point with my mouse wheel, I should be able to do so because I am a competent human being. And there we go. Back at 1.42. Bam. All right. And we scroll down and that's it. You can reset everything here. That's everything under the console tab. We go to image and this is where you're starting to adjust things like the autofocus, which it is currently on right now. So this is what it looks like when it's working. Relatively quick, right? I do feel in some instances where it's not necessarily the best autofocus, but here's the thing. Sometimes OBS plays tricks on me. And so I will check this out in post once I've actually edited and uploaded and everything. And I'll add a little word salad down at the bottom to tell you if in fact it is working as intended or not. But from what I can tell right now, it looks like it's working as it's supposed to. You're also able to control your exposure. You can have it automatically set by the webcam and the camera app itself, or you can turn it off and adjust manually the shutter speed and the ISO. I'm running it at 1/60 for shutter speed and an ISO setting of 100 because I've got fairly decent lighting going on here in my room. I don't have the ability to adjust the anti-flicker setting, so I haven't really had a chance to play around with that. You have a couple of different presets for white balance. I definitely go with custom. That's what I highly recommend for you. Everybody's environment for recording or streaming is very different, so I'm not really a huge fan of using presets because your room looks different than mine. You want to make sure your white balance is set to accommodate your space. And then last but certainly not least, this is where you are able to start adjusting the image. Things like brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, and hue. There are some presets that come included with the app. Again, I recommend custom and trying to make the image match as close to possible as what you would actually see in your actual space. We can go over here to beauty and they have things like being able to retouch your face. You can make your body slimmer, your legs leggier, your legs something, your waist, your shoulders, your head. Let's play with the head. Let's play with the head, okay? We're gonna play with the head. Did you see that shift? Okay, let's make my shoulders. What happens to my shoulders if I do this? You can't really tell here at all, right? We're gonna shrink the head back down to 0. But you're able to kind of manipulate what you look like on camera, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, really. You're able to add on background blur, like so, which I think looks really, really clean. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna leave that. That looks really good. And then if you go over here to the more tab, you have a couple of different other settings for your device, like auto power off, time power off, etc. Blah, 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 yada, yada. The app overall is a pretty solid app. It has a lot of functionality and a lot of different control options and a lot of options in regards to controlling the quality of your image via the OBSBOT Tail Air. I think it's a fantastic app. Now, let's move on. I appreciate y'all being here with me throughout this whole video. This has been a long review. I wanted to give this video and more importantly, this product, its due time, right? Out of respect for the fact that they sent me this item for free, I wanted to do as thorough a review as I possibly could. The only thing I'm still looking into that I will add on to this video as time goes on is NDI. I am not very familiar with NDI. I may have to do a separate video for that, but for anybody out there watching this that knows about NDI, this camera has NDI functionality for whatever that's worth, right? And the only other thing is I want to compare this camera to my Canon M50. And I'm not doing this to make a point on anything, but other than just simply show you what the differences are. So this is the OBSBOT Tail Air running through the USB-C connection to the back of my computer, my motherboard. And this is my Canon M50. This is, at the time of purchase, was a $700 mirrorless camera, all right? $700 for the camera. I want to say like $120 for the cam link because you can use the EOS webcam app from Canon on your computer, but you're limited in the resolution that you're able to output at. So if you want to output at 1080 and possibly even 4K with the M50, you have to get something like the cam link, right? The cam link 4K. So that's what we got. So $700 for the camera, 120 for the cam link 4K. And then I believe like $15 for a dummy power supply to run the camera as long as I need it to without, overheating or damaging it, which has never happened. And it was about $15. So what? 700, 120, that's 820 plus another 15. It's like $835, $840. Okay. This, what you're looking at right now, was an estimated $840 investment. Now, clearly, there is a big difference between that and this when you look at image quality. But here is the crazy thing. For an estimated $350 less, I'm looking at this and I am very happy. Like, I'm very, very, very happy with the image quality that I'm seeing here. All right. Not to mention that for $350 less, you have the tracking. You have 4K 30 FPS output. You have 1080 60 output, which the M50 does as well. But you don't need to buy anything additional. You don't have to buy an extra power supply, a dummy power supply, dummy battery. You don't have to buy a Camlink 4K. You have the USB option as far as connectivity is concerned, and you're able to save yourself $350, which if you're working on building a stream setup or a YouTube setup or a content creation setup, $350 can mean a whole lot of other things in regards to the gear that you're looking to buy. Right? For example, that's damn near the price of a Rodecaster Duo, which is the best mixer / audio interface I have ever bought in my entire life. It is fantastic. It's a $500 piece of gear. It's amazing. I don't ever see myself switching from this because this thing is absolutely incredible. If you went down the mirrorless path, you're definitely going to get your money's worth also, all right? And there's a steep learning curve that comes with getting the most out of your mirrorless cameras. But once you understand how the different things like ISO, aperture, and shutter speed work and how to properly adjust them while simultaneously employing some solid lighting in your recording area, you're gonna get excellent results. But then, you know, the cameras are kind of like a gateway drug, if you will, okay? So you're gonna buy your camera, it's gonna have a stock lens with it, but then you're gonna learn about all these other different types of lenses. And so what's gonna happen is this. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna buy more lenses for your camera because you want to be able to shoot some really nice shots with some really nice bokeh, the background blurring going on here, with a 50mm lens, which if I recall correctly, I wanna say this was about $150 to $200. And then also you're gonna wanna get some really good camera shots and some really good footage. So you're gonna go out there and possibly buy a 24mm lens. And then you're gonna realize that the lenses you bought were for a different kind of camera with a whole different mount system. So then you're also gonna have to go buy an adapter for that, which I think the 24mm lens was around $150. And the Viltrox adapter here, I think was $100 flat, plus tax for everything, right? So going the mirrorless route can get very expensive, but it also can yield amazing, absolutely amazing results. Now, the reason I have a mirrorless camera is because I'm not just streaming. It is overkill for streams. This right here is perfect for streams. I think this looks fantastic. And I used the Elgato Facecam long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I was not impressed with it. I mean, I was impressed with it for what it was, but there was a lot of issues technically that came along with using it. For some reason, it just would never properly function for me. So I returned it. I gave it up altogether. And for streaming and content creation of that sort, this is fantastic. Like, you can get a lot out of this camera for $500. I don't know how else to say or explain or break this down. What you're getting for $500 here is ridiculous. I now would, having used it now, I would have expected this to cost more. And then there's this, right? And so why I'm happy that I have this device now is because I can now have two cameras that are of good enough quality that I feel comfortable switching between them while I am streaming, which I have done several times since I got the camera. And also, I'm gonna use this camera for B-roll and for capturing other things and just getting creative with it. This is a fantastic camera. If you're looking to buy yourself a really solid webcam for your streams, for your YouTube channel, for whatever content it is that you're creating, you want the ability to have tracking because you can be moving around. You want to be able to capture footage at 4K resolution at 30 frames a second, or maybe even 1080 resolution at 60 frames a second. This has that. Not only that, but there's a great functionality that comes incorporated with the app, both on the phone and also on your PC. This camera is already amazing as is connected to your computer. The fact that you're able to use this camera with no connections via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to your phone is a huge huge advantage that it has over some of its competitors, like the Elgato Facecam Pro, for example. The Elgato Facecam Pro and a lot of other webcams out there have to stay connected to your device, to your computer, really. I don't even know if there's any way to get them to function on your mobile phone, but the OBSBOT Tail Air can. I don't know what else to tell you. Ladies and gents, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of everything. If you have any questions, there will be some links in the description below if you're interested in purchasing this through OBSBOT's website. And if you have any questions about this at all, please feel free to ask. I will respond to them as quickly as I am able to. I am working on 2 different channels, right? So I got this one and my games channel, Player versus Game. You should definitely go check it out. I 1000% recommend this camera to anybody trying to get the best possible webcam out on the market right now. It's fantastic. Like, it's crazy. I never thought I'd like a webcam, and yet here I am loving this one. So y'all take care. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Peace out.